Here we go. I just think that this is a lot of really good information that we can get out there. And that's part of what I do here. Yeah, I talk about independent musicians and I rant and rave about how screwed up the music industry is. And I think one of my other roles here that I feel is very important that I need to do as a podcaster, as an internet broadcaster, if you will, is also talk about the stuff that the mainstream media doesn't. And this, in my opinion, fits right in with that. And, because this is stuff. I mean, look at the people that are here tonight. A lot of them are like, huh? What? What's going on? And they came to the show. And not all of them are logged in the chat, but they came to the show to see what this is all about, what's going on out there. And what you're talking about is one of the articles I was reading, and if you give me a second, I've got a ton of them open. I'll find one and open it. I don't know how well the Facebook links will do over here, but this ties right in with what you were just talking about, Becky, and I'm going to try to drop this in there, and you guys are going to have to let me know whether or not if it works. Cross your fingers. If you're on Facebook, you probably shouldn't have a problem. If you're not, I don't know how well that's going to work for you. But this is an article, the Chickamauga Cherokee Teaching Council to the Government. Help Native America Now. And this is the council's notes, and this was posted on Friday. How the storm, basically, it took a toll on a destitute tribe. These people don't have much to begin with. And I mean, we've all heard the expression, in a pot, not having a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and this drives right home just as much as, excuse me, But I mean, the article more than speaks for itself. But it says they had a blizzard in November and took out 500 power lines, and then they had this latest storm that took out 2,000 to 3,000 more. And you think of how do water pumps run? How do people, especially in that part of the world, heat their homes this time of year? The fact of the matter is, without electricity, you can't. So they're reduced to melting snow for water and doing God only knows what for food. It's just, it's insane. But we can do everything at the drop of a hat to help people thousands of miles away. But we can't take care of things in our own backyard.
I will tell you this, Jack. There has been some donations of food, water, blankets. Red Cross has been there. It's been very minimal because most of our resources are in Haiti right now.
Right.
Something I did want to explain. A lot of folks have asked me why aren't the Cheyenne River Sioux doing for themselves? And they stay sequestered for a reason. Yet that's pretty much it, Kevin. We get that a lot. Oh, it's just the Indians. It's difficult to explain. This is a conversation Lee and I had the other night about, Indians want to be on their own little countries within a country, and that's the way it was supposed to have been. Unfortunately, we still fall within government guidelines. We're pretty much under the control of the FBI and the BIA. For those of you who don't know, BIA is Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Okay.
They pretty much regulate everything that goes on within the reservations. Even though we have our own tribal police and we have our own tribal government, they can still step in and override everything.
So sovereign nation really isn't so sovereign.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a nice pipe dream, and for several hundred years that's how it's supposed to have been. We do have Indian Health Services. My sister's fiance waited 2 years to be seen for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he died of it. He was a hell of a man, and he fought it. But what can you do without medical treatment? And when you're that, and I hate to use the word poor, but when you have little finances and no insurance, nobody's going to take care of you. Nobody's going to see you. And being in the medical profession, that constantly pisses me off.
Right.
We unfortunately see that all the time. You can get into the emergency room and they have to see you, but when it comes to treatment, there's only so much you can get. And that's where a lot of these people are at. Very minimal medical treatment. But sorry about that. Going back, I can get on a rant about medical care.
Go right ahead. I told you
sorry
that
about
this is stuff, especially when it comes to how things are. with Cheyenne River Sioux and all the other Native American tribes, there's a lot of stuff that because it's not, the popular media doesn't cover it because they're too busy worrying about Britney Spears' ass. I'm sorry, but that's true. Where stuff like this doesn't get talked about. So if you want to go off on a tangent, go right ahead, because again, that's part of the idea is to get the information out there so that people know what's really going on.
Well, I took a peek at CNN tonight. There's Beyonce and her boobs all over, the front page.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I really don't care about Beyonce. I don't, I want to know what's going on in America today, and entertainment, that should be at the bottom of the page.
Mm-hmm.
We have snowstorms in Oklahoma right now. They're getting a little bit of media. But I could almost guarantee if it was, Tahlequah and the Cherokee Nation, there wouldn't be a whole lot said about it.
If anything.
Yeah, if anything. Same thing in Arizona. They had the floods.
Mm-hmm.
I saw absolutely nothing on the news. A friend of mine, Tammy Jo Martindale from Topeka, who is out there right now, the RV park they were in was completely flooded out.
I'm dropping a link about the article if anybody wants to read up on that and know that way you can bone up and know what she's talking about there. But yeah.
Yeah, there's heavy snowstorms out there. We're seeing a lot. Out on the East Coast. I saw one link today, Bruce, about North Carolina, but very little said about it. If you're not a big city, they really don't seem to say a whole lot. And even though, Cheyenne River, it incorporates a lot of land, there's no major cities. One of the reports I saw, barely made it down. There was a driver saw a small path in the snow. There was a mother with 2 children who had walked a couple miles. They had been snowed into their house for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why it's taking so long for people to notice this and get out there. When I lived in Louisiana and Gustav and Ike hit us, the media coverage was there long before the hurricanes even hit us, and they stayed for a long time after. People were there to help.
Because
so why not now?
That's because that's where the camera's eye was trained, just like after Katrina. Now, for all the media coverage, it depends on who you talk to. New Orleans, I was talking to somebody who'd been in New Orleans recently, and she said there were parts of the city that still look like the day after.
There are. I left Louisiana just a little over, well, not quite a year ago, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Be a year in April. And there's a lot of areas that are still pretty bad. The media focused on New Orleans. What they didn't focus on was the Gulf Coast, and in Mississippi and Alabama, and they were hit harder than New Orleans itself.
Yeah, because they got the actual hurricane.
City. Exactly. I wasn't down there during Katrina. Like I said, I was there for Ike and Gustav.
Right.
And I evacuated with some of my residents at that time, and I was gone for 2 weeks. When I got back, the roads were barely drivable. We had Red Cross and churches and everybody you could think of lined up to help. So where are all these folks now when we have, literally 10,000 people starving and freezing to death?
Mm-hmm. And no media coverage. Now, okay, didn't you try to get a hold of CNN or somebody over at CNN to cover the story?
We did. My husband Ron called over there and talked with a man named Tom, who was the West Side desk manager or something like that in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And that night we had it was posted all over Facebook asking all natives to call CNN and find out why they're not covering what's going on at Cheyenne River, and if they really were going to be sending a crew out this coming week.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband actually got through and talked to Tom, and he said that their news crews were too far spread out to be able to cover the event, and they were pushing their affiliates in Rapid City to cover it, but they were not willing to go out there. He would not give us the number. I did find it, and I posted it to Facebook
Mm-hmm.
for all of the CNN affiliates in Rapid City, and one of them happens to be Fox News.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah, we never did get in touch with them, and to my knowledge, no one has been out there. That evening, someone said, and I can't remember the gentleman who posted it on Facebook, CNN was supposed to be sending a helicopter out